let us study about Git workflow. Okay, so you are going to use this Git for first time, let's say, right? How do you use this Git tool or a version control software to update the code in the repository, remote repository, and keep making changes from that by taking it from the remote repository. Okay, let's say you are building a new project from scratch, right? So I will begin this from the working directory. I will begin it from the working directory. So here we have the first one as working directory. What is this? This is my local place. This is my machine, my place. This is where actually I write and edit the code. Okay, basically wherever you write the code in your local machine, that is your working directory, right? You can create new files, you can modify the existing files. Everything is done in the working directory. Since we are talking about the first time process, so basically you will create the file, you will write the code in the working directory. Okay, now whatever you are doing in the working directory, nobody else knows it because it's local to you. Git also does not know that. Okay, Git and GitHub has not come into picture. You have just understood a project requirement and you are working on that in your local machine. That is your working directory, right? Let's say you wrote some code. Okay, you have written some code. That code, right, you have to move it to the staging area. You are okay with that code. You have done all the experiments. You have nicely tested it. You felt, okay, I have built a nice application. Let me now move it to the cloud, or let me move it, put it in the GitHub repository. Okay. Now, so for that reason, we have to put that code in the staging area. We have to put that code in the staging area, right? This is a temporary storage area. This is a temporary storage, right? So you can select what all changes you have made, right? For that, to put that code from your local working directory to the staging area, the command is add. So the command what we use is git space add and file name. We will discuss the commands. Okay, basically now understand in simple terms. So we will be adding, we will use this command to add that code from my working directory to the staging area. It's a temporary intermediate area, right? So basically you are telling, now you are telling to Git that I have some code with me which I want to commit, Okay, you are telling a message to the Git by putting that here. We are talking to the Git now, right? Next, the third one, after this comes the local repository, right? So in local repository is the place where you are storing the Git. Okay, this is where Git stores your project files. This is where Git stores your project files. Okay, means the way your project files will be, you want to store them in the GitHub or some remote repository, in the same way that will be structured in the local repository. You get my point? See, this is a playing area. Working directory is a playing area. You can use any tool for that. Anywhere you can save the code. Okay, in downloads, in desktop, somewhere you wrote some practice, some code, that code is ready with you. That one you want to put it in a structured format. So using git add command, you are bringing it to the staging area. From the staging area, you are doing git commit. When you say git commit, what happens? The code is properly organized and stored in your local repository. The structure of local repository will be same. Whatever folders, see, I have folder A, in that I have folder B, in that I have 3 files, then I have folder C, I have 2 files, one more folder. So this structure, whatever structure, right, it is there in the online, in the local repository, whatever format whatever structure you are storing in the local repository, same will be stored in the remote. So this is where Git comes into picture here, right? From the staging area, the code is now sent to the local repository. This is where Git is storing the code. So for that you use git commit command. Git commit will bring that code from your local to the from your working directory to the local repository via staging area. Okay, once you commit, right, this see, you wrote one main.java program, you modified, and finally you had main32.java. Okay, modified version. So this 32.java version 32 is the final code that will be updated here. Permanently it will be stored in the local repository. Okay, right. So we use that git commit. Then there is something called as remote repository. What is this remote repository? From my local machine, if something happens to my local machine, if my machine crashes or some motherboard issue is there, some problem, some RAM issue is there, it may, the code whatever I have written might be lost, right? So we want to put this in the internet. I want to put it online in some public cloud platform. I want to put it, right? And these three are in your local machine only, right? How will you collaborate with other developers? To collaborate with other developers, to show your code to other people, you have to put it in the public platform, right? So you will be moving your code from the local repository to the remote repository. Example of remote repository is GitHub. Okay, this is a shared repository on the internet where you are allowing your code to be collaborated by others. Okay, some example of remote repositories are GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, and so on, right? So this way, then for moving that from the local repository to the remote repository, we use the command git push. So this will push this code, the final local repository, whatever structure it is. Let's say there are some 10 files are there in different folders. As it is, that will be moved to the remote repository. As it is, it will be moved to the remote repository. Okay, so we do that. This is the general flow. One way I am building a new project. I from scratch I wrote a project. Okay, this was the flow. From my working directory, using git add, I added to staging area, then git commit, I added to the local repository. From there, using git push, I am sending it to the remote repository. It is publicly available now. Okay, but now you want to, let's say this second case, I want to collaborate with somebody else. So there is code already available in the remote repository. Right? So what should I do that for that, right? So we can do the clone, or you can do the git pull. Okay, so what we have to do? First we have to do git clone. Git clone, what is it means, right? Copies the remote repository code in your local repository. Copies the remote repository code into your local repository here. Git clone will bring the same structure, whatever structure the code is available in the remote repository, that will be copied into my local repository. Because my second, I am talking about task number 2, where somebody else has written the code, it is available in the GitHub. I want to work on it. I want to make as a change. I am a collaborator for that project. So you will be using git clone, right? So this git clone will help me to get the code from the remote to the local repository, right? Then you have something called as git checkout. Okay, so git checkout will come only when you want to have different versions, right? So next, git fetch, right? So download the changes from the remote repository, but does not merge them automatically. What does it means? See, when I cloned it in local machine, right, from the local repository I can do checkout into my working directory. In working directory, when I get that code, it is a editable, it's a draft version. You can make changes n number of times. You can delete, add, do all changes what you want to do. in the working directory, right? So git fetch means, what is git fetch? Let's say after you cloned the code, after you got the code from the remote repository, somebody else updated this. Somebody else updated this, right? So whatever changes after you got it, you on 12th March you got the code, you did git cloning, but this remote repository was updated by somebody else on 13, right? So that you can do it using git fetch. Okay, git fetch, what it will do, whatever is there in the remote, updated one will be updated in your local repository, but not in your working directory. Working directory is your local copy, it has nothing to do with the local repository, right? So git fetch will basically, whatever is the updated one here will be updated in the local repository, but not in my working directory. Whereas git pull, okay, whereas git pull from the remote repository, it can update it directly to the working directory. Whatever you are playing now, that will be updated from the remote repository directly. That is your git pull, right? So git merge, basically to merge the changes, the updated one from here to here. Okay, different tasks, we have different commands, right? So this is the workflow. So workflow number 1, I am building a new project, so I will do that in my local machine in some using some IDE. Then I will use git add to put it in the staging area. Then I will do git commit to put in the local repository. From that I want to put in the internet, I will use git push to update it back in the remote repository, right? And this is workflow. Workflow number 2, I want to work in an existing project, then you can do git clone. You can do git clone. So it will download that copy into your local repository. From here you can do checkout and make changes, do whatever changes you want to do. Okay, or you can also do git pull. Git pull means whatever is updated here can be directly brought back to your working directory where you can play, right? So this is the basic workflow of git. Okay, so if I tell in simple terms, right, you will first write the code. After writing code, this, where are you doing this? You are doing in working directory. Right? Then you will do the git add and bring that code to the staging area. From the staging area you will do git commit, so that will be updated in the local repository. From here if you do git push, it will be sent back to the remote repository, right? Now let us understand one real time example to understand this git workflow. Simple, we use Google documents every day, right? Let us understand this git workflow with an example. Okay, let us say let me write the commands here or the stages. Working directory is one, then we have staging area, and then I have local repository, and then I have remote repository. Okay, now let us see how I compare this with an example, right? Let's say you are writing a book. You are writing one new book, maybe some biography, autobiography, or some subject textbook. You are writing one book, right? It has lot of pages, correct? Now, right, you in your working directory you will have a draft version of it. You will have one version where you are writing it every day. You are writing some content every day. So that is your working file, right? Now some pages, let's say you have written 100 pages. Some pages are finalized, neatly formatted. Okay, remaining, let's say some 75 pages are finalized, pakka nicely written, and they are nicely edited and formatted. Okay, you are worried about losing it, so you want to put it somewhere else, right? So in staging area you will select those 75 pages. Okay, now once you have these 75 pages in the staging area, then you will save this permanently. Save this draft. save this draft of 75 pages, okay, in the local repository. It means those 75 pages are locked, they are saved nicely, right. Now this again, these three are your local machine only, but you want to have it in the internet so that you can access it anywhere. So what you will do, obviously you will put in the Google Drive, you will put it in the Google Drive, you will upload that in the Google Drive. So your Google Drive will have now this updated 75 pages, okay, which can be accessed anywhere. But your local directory has 100 pages, some of them are not completed yet, only 75 were finalized, so only 75 you have moved them into the Google Drive. Now let me talk about those commands, right. So you understood about those no, add, commit and push. Somehow by using add, then commit and then push, it came here, okay. Let's say you made some changes, okay, somebody else, you gave it to me for review, you shared me the Google Drive link and you said please review that pages, 75 pages, you be the reviewer of the textbook, okay. So you said you gave me the Google Drive link to review. While reviewing, I found out some mistakes and I corrected them in the Google Drive. Google document I can do that, no, because you gave me the edit permission, I am making changes in that, I corrected. But in your local working directory, is this changes reflecting there? No, it is not reflecting. So for that you can do pull, command, whatever changes I made here, right, that will be reflected in your local directory, working directory. Whatever changes I made here, you can see those changes here, so that when you are working on remaining pages, you are working on the updated pages, not the older version, right. So this is the simple example, you are putting them in the Google Drive, this is like your Google Drive, okay. So I hope you understood how the Git works, okay. So this is the basic working mechanism of Git, okay. So we will be doing everything in the local, and then also since we want to collaborate, since you want to have it for permanently stored, can be accessed anywhere in the internet, I am putting in a cloud like platform, basically GitHub, okay. You can use any platform there, right. So this is the working structure of Git.